What is up, everyone? We are here talking about UFC Fight Night. Anthony Hernandez versus Strickland. Um, Hopefully my voice doesn't sound too much different. I just woke up from a nap, actually. It's been some long time at work, so just been busy. I've been trying to make a video recently, but just haven't had to find the time to edit and upload it. So my apologies. I'm going to try to become more consistent, but I wanted to pump this out as quickly as I could. So we're going to try to make this as quick as we can. So let's get into the first fight on the card. Juliana Miller versus Carly Judice. I just got to go with Carly Judice on this one. She's had knockouts in her last two fights, and I feel like with a women's MMA fighter, that's kind of a, I don't want to be disrespectful, but kind of a rare thing to see. And I mean, they're both similar ages. Juliana Miller is only like 28. Carly Judice is 26. But I think just overall, Carly Judice is just the better fighter, more technical, more knockout power, more dangerous, and has a slight reach advantage as well. And the odds have it in her favor as well, by quite a lot actually. It's kind of insane. Carly Judice is a minus 800 over Juliana Miller, who is a plus 550. So kind of insane on this one. But I'm gonna go Carly Judice via knockout in. I don't think it's gonna be super quick. I think it's gonna be in the third round, maybe second round. Definitely over 1.5. So we'll just keep it like that. But Carly Judice by TKO. Moving on, we got Jordan Levitt versus Yadier Delaval. Man, I gotta go with Yadier. It's just Jordan Levitt is kind of just like this inconsistent dude who's like, you know, he loses to the grapplers, he loses two, wins one, it's just he's not that good. At one point, I feel like he was kind of thought of as this, good technical grappler, but I feel like he just loses to other grapplers. This guy is just better, younger. Seems like he has more experience and just gonna physicality Jordan Levitt out there and really just basically twist him into a pretzel. So I'm going to go with Yadier on this one. The odd makers have it the same way. Yadier is a minus one, actually 410. And Jordan Levitt's a plus 320. So I'm going to go Yadier via submission. Probably pretty quick. I'd imagine the first round. Maybe like late first round. So yeah, go Yadier on this one. Moving on. Phil Rowe versus, I'm going to try to pronounce this guy's name, Jean-Paul Lebasoniani. I think I might have gotten that. I don't know. I watched one of the Contender Series, and dude, I think there's something about him. That is going to go out. He's going to go out there in his debut fight and just smoke Phil Rowe. I think it's going to be a little like, hesitant on the feet, but it's not like in front of like a huge crowd. It's a fight night, but still it's in front of, an arena in Houston. So it's going to be a little much for him, but I think Jean-Paul does have what it takes, man. I saw this guy fight in the Contender Series, got a really nice KO, really good just fight IQ overall, where he just like smelled the finish, really good finishing instincts. And Phil Rowe, dude, he's not that good, man. He got a really lucky fight against or lucky win against Ange Lusa, JDM's victim, and after that he just got smudged in his last fight and just lost the decision. But Jean-Paul has that speed. I feel like he has a similar style to like someone like Robert Whitaker, and where that he kind of just blitzes in, and I think that's just going to be too much for Phil Rowe, because I mean he has a good reach advantage, which if he stays behind that jab he could have success. But I think overall Jean-Paul Lebasoniani is gonna just gonna have the answers, and probably I'm gonna kind of try to do something different. I'm gonna go for let's go submission. Let's go Jean-Paul by submission. I'm not gonna tell you which round. I want to say like third round. Let's play a little different, moving different. Jean Paul is a minus 198, the favorite, and Phil Rowe is a plus 164. So pretty close odds overall. Not even a 2-1 favorite. So, but I agree. Jean Paul is going to get this one done via submission. Well, sure, maybe decision, but let's go submission. Moving on, Ramiz Brahimaj versus Soriano. I'm not gonna say his first name. Punahel Soriano. Man, I don't really know much about these fighters, but what I've kind of seen in my research is Brahimaj is just the more improved fighter. He's looked better. He's had, just a more improved UFC career, and I think this is the guy that's been training with Bilal, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me, but I do still think Bilal Muhammad is a pretty good fighter. And when you're training with him, I feel like you do see improvements. I mean, we saw this with I'm trying to think, Charles Radke, who isn't this world beater of a fighter, but still looked improved and looked better. There's someone else that I've seen recently that looked better training out of Bilal, but I think he's been training with him. So I'm going to go with Brahimaj to win this fight via decision over Soriano. I just think he's the more improved fighter, and I'm kind of spacing off of what I've seen recently. So I'll go with decision for Brahimaj, and the odds have it a slight favorite for him. He's a minus 120, while Soriano is a plus 100. So this is a very close odds fight. The under 2.5 is minus 180. So it sounds like this is going to be a finish. So maybe that decision isn't likely. But hey, if you want to play it, close to the chest, maybe go that decision and get plus money that way. But yeah, I got Brahimaj to get this one done. Nora Cannoli, my bad, versus Jocelyn Edwards. I think Jocelyn Edwards is the better fighter. I think she is going to go out there and flick the jab and cruise herself all the way to a decision. Man, I don't really know what to say about these fighters. I feel like I've seen Jocelyn Edwards fight like once, and I immediately forgot. So I'm going to go with Jocelyn Edwards just to get this one done via decision. I don't really know what to say because I barely even recognize these fighters. But I do have like a hint of an idea of who Jocelyn Edwards is. So I'm just going to go with her. All right. Odds have it minus 325 for Edwards, and Cannoli is a plus 260. So there you have it. Edwards by decision. Moving on. If it has Edwards, last name Edwards, they don't have any finishing ability, so just go decision. Alden Korea. Am I saying that right? Korea? Or Korea? Maybe it's Korea. Versus Louis Gruely. I'm going to go with Alden. I'm just going to say Alden. Just to play it safe. Just because the fact he trains with Joshua Van. He has really slick boxing. I think just like he's, a local to Houston. He's very young. I think he's just going to do what he does best. And I think he's going to win by decision. I don't think he's going to be, like, getting an easy finish by any means. But I think Alden just has that kind of like that momentum that Joshua Van's feeling right now. And like they're both young fighters. They're trading together, both in the same division. Got a lot of potential, just looking at him. And I think he's going to go out there and I think he's just going to kind of piece up Gruely on the feet for 3 rounds and win a cruise decision at 30-27. So, yeah, I got Alden by decision. The odds have it minus 285 for Alden and a plus 230 for Gruely. I know I'm picking all favorites so far, but maybe we'll switch it up. We'll see. I actually don't really know. I haven't really looked at that much of these odds, so I got Alden by decision. Ode Osborne versus Alibi Idris. So I watched Alibi Idris fight in Chicago for the end of the what's it called? Tough season finale, which he lost. He got submitted, I think, in like the second or third round, I believe, which he was doing well. I think he had won like the first round, I believe, but then eventually got submitted. Ode Osborne, on the other hand, is coming off a loss against Steve Erceg, which he had a lot of success in. And Ode Osborne, I know there's been like a case where like people think that he won that fight, which I don't know, man, maybe, but I think Steve Erceg did manage to win the last 2 rounds just by control time. But I think with this fight, I think Ode Osborne has crazy good power. And for the flyweight division, I feel like he's either like you chin him or you get chinned by him, you know? Ode Osborne's a slick striker, and I think this is going to be too much for Aliba Idris in his kind of like his first actual UFC fight. I know he lost his tough fight, but that was a loss to another tough opponent. So I think when you're going against Ode Osborne, when you don't have to worry about the grappling, yeah, it's like beneficial for you, but I think overall Ode Osborne is going to win this fight by KO. I just have that feeling about this fight. I think Osborne, as the underdog, there we go, picking an underdog finally, as a plus 114, and Idris being a minus 135. I think he's going to get this one done via KO in, I think, late first round finish by Ode Osborne. So, and that win for Steve Erceg is going to age even better. So there we go. Moving on. Now I'm not going to talk about this one anymore, but that's going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to that one. Man, these names are killing me on this one. Chidi, I'm not even going to say it. Chidi versus Carlos Leal. I'm not even going to try. Carlos Leal, bro. Pretty overrated. I mean, I don't know, he got caught by that one dude, that one Russian dude. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, which I watched that fight, and I was like, what? When that happened, I thought Carlos Leal was going to throw like a nuke of a right hand or something on his chin and KO him, but then that was the opposite, and Carlos Leal got absolutely destroyed. I think Chidi's good, don't get me wrong, but I'm not ready to jump off the Carlos Leal hype train yet. I think he's still really good. I think he has that KO power, that just like march you down KO power, where it's like a discount Benoit Saint-Denis. And I think he's going to just pressure Chidi. Maybe he's going to come out here a little bit more, calm and collective. But I think you got to close that gap for the reach, for one. And like I said, Chidi is good, but I think Carlos Leal is not going to give him any respect. I think it's going to work in his favor if he just marches him down. Obviously, Chidi has KO power as well, but I think overall, Carlos Leal, if he plays it, I think in a way where he doesn't play it safe and just doesn't respect Chidi, he's going to KO him. So I'm going to go with that just because I don't think Chidi's that crazy of a good counter striker. And yeah, I think Carlos Leal does still have that crazy power and still have, some skills to knock out someone like Chidi. So Chidi's a plus 110, while Carlos Leal is a minus 130. A lot of people think this is going to be under 1.5, so I tend to agree, especially if Carlos Leal does go out there and fight a fight that he, like the previous fight, and he could get KO'd pretty quick. So maybe that under 1.5 looks enticing, but that's at minus 160. If you want to do over, it's plus 124, but you're going to be biting your nails the entire, 7.5 minutes. So go at your own risk. Moving on, but my official pick is Carlos Leal by finish. Moving on to the main card, we got Michel Pereira versus Zach Reese. Man, what happened to Michel Pereira? What happened to him? I picked him to get KO'd by Kyle Dawkins. I don't know. I think it's Dawkins. Which I was sadly right. Because I don't want to see Michel Pereira get KO'd. I like him, dude. Everybody likes him. The Zumba instructor himself. And Zach Reese, on the other hand, not that good of a fighter, dude. I feel like he had some level of hype around him, but then just died off so quick. And I feel like Zach Reese tries to go out there and have like a technical striking fight. And, he has KO power, but I feel like it just doesn't work out for him. And with Michel Pereira, man, his gas tank is terrible. I don't know if there's been something wrong with him. I don't know if, that fight against Anthony Hernandez has taken like just so much off of him. I don't know, because in the last like what 3 fights now, it was Anthony Hernandez and then Abus Magomedov, and then now Kyle Dawkins, and now obviously Zach Reese. On a 3-fight losing streak, man. I think Michel Pereira's best path to victory in this fight is similar to Carlos Leal, where he's just gonna have to go in there, not give any respect to Zach Reese, and just put the pressure on him immediately, and just try to look for a finish, because Pereira does not have a 3-round gas tank. Doesn't even have like a 1-round gas tank, to be honest. And he's got to close that gap, use his explosiveness. I don't think Zach Reese is that fast, and just get him out of there as quickly as he possibly can. I'm going to go with Michel Pereira because I want him to win. And surprisingly, the odds actually have it as a favorite for Pereira as a -155, and Zach Reese is a +130. I don't know if I agree with that per se, but still, I'm going to go with Michel Pereira to get a KO within the first round. He has to do that. He has to do that to win. So I hope he wins this one. Let's move on. Jacoby Smith versus... This is a late notice replacement. Wasn't he fighting someone else? Josiah Harrell? Why does the guy look like he's like... Why does the guy look like he's so short? 5'7"? Is he actually 5'7" and fights at welterweight? What? Is this Ilya remasked? Reskinned? Why does he look like that? Okay, well, anyways, I think Jacoby Smith, since I don't know shit about Josiah, I think Jacoby Smith is still really good. Even though that Nico Price fight doesn't really look that good in hindsight and was pretty underwhelming overall, I think Jacoby Smith has this in the bag. He has the grappling. He has the ground and pound. Josiah's coming on late notice replacement, and it's just a bad matchup for him. This is a tough fight for him. Tough fight for both guys, let's be honest. But I think Jacoby Smith's got this in the bag. He's got that UFC experience, and sure, Nico Price isn't the best fighter in the world and just got absolutely smoked in his last fight, but Jacoby Smith, man, has the wrestling to take you down, and he's going to look great, I think, in this fight. And it's going to really show that if he's improved in his cardio, that's the biggest thing. Hopefully he can go all 3 rounds, but I think let's go Jacoby Smith. Let's go Jacoby Smith via submission, because I kind of worry about his 3-round gas tank. Let's just do it. 3-round or Smith by submission over Josiah Harrell. So, moving on. Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delija. The dude with the 3rd nipple. Look really closely, you'll see it. Sergey Spivak. Man, I like this guy. I do. And I don't know why. Because I like Delija too. Even though he looks like he's 50 years old. This one's kind of tough for me. Because... I'm just going to pick it, man. Delija is going to knock out Spivak. Spivak shells up too much. He's like the Anthony Smith of the heavyweight division. And I think Delija is too quick. He's too strong. He's too physically imposing. He's going to KO Spivak very quick. And just show how weak of a heavyweight Spivak actually is. Which is sad. It's sad. But people forget, man. Delija almost KO'd Acosta. And Costa just KO'd Derek Lewis. Derek Quitter Lewis. So I'm going to go with Delija, training with Tom Aspinall. He has the experience fighting Spivak. So I think it's just going to be a quick, easy fight for him. Under 1.5 via KO. Delija is a -142, while Spivak is +120. Actually, pretty close odds. I would just go Delija money line. Or under 1.5. I think that's pretty safe. That's pretty safe, honestly. So, yeah, final pick Delija by KO. Moving on, great fight, dude. I'm looking forward to this one so much. Dan Ige versus I really like a Costa, but I don't know how to say his first name. People say like Melky Costa, so I'm just gonna say it like that. I like Dan Ige. I don't think he's as good as people say he is. He just lost against Patricio Chihuahua, and now he's fighting Costa, who is just such a fast, versatile striker. Kicks, jabs, has the jiu-jitsu. I think this is a really well-rounded fighter in Costa, and Dan Ige is a, withered, seasoned veteran who has the experience to kind of, pull it out of his bag. But I think when it comes down to should this guy be ranked number 15 or should he not, for Costa, I think he should be ranked number 15. Dan Ige beat Sean Woodson, which, Sean Woodson, I did pick him to win that fight, but it was a close fight up until Dan Ige got a kind of goofy KO over Sean Woodson. But I think when you look back at that, like, Sean Woodson's kind of goofy. It doesn't really belong in to be in the top 15, the featherweight division. But I think Costa is belonging in there. Dude, he's looked so good. Coming off a head kick KO. He looks great. And I think he's going to have a speed advantage. I think Dan Ige could have an argument for a KO in power advantage. But I think overall, Costa has better just versatility. And I'm going to go with Costa. I was kind of feeling a finish in this one, but I'm kind of going back and forth. I think I'm going to play it safe, but I hope I'm kind of wrong on this one. I hope Costa gets a finish, maybe a submission, something that Diego Lopez couldn't do. But I'm going to pick Costa to win via decision. If you want to like kind of side with me, the under 2.5 was actually looking pretty enticing. That is a plus 220. So, hey, you might want to look at that. But Costa is a minus 205. The money line's pretty good too. And Danny is a plus 170. So I got Costa. You know what? Screw it. Let's say submission. Let's say submission. Let's do it, man. Why not? Costa by submission. Next, dude. Great fight as well. Jeff Neal versus Uros Medic. Both really just like high finish rate guys. Jeff Neal, man. Hands of steel Neal. I like Jeff Neal, bro. And it's sad to see him get KO'd by Carlos Prates. I picked Carlos to win that fight. But still, I was a little worried for Prates because I know how good Jeff Neal's boxing is. But I was completely wrong. Prates made very easy work of him. Spinning elbow in the first round. But honestly, man, I think that's going to age. That win for Carlos Prates is going to age great. And even the loss for Jeff Neal is going to age great too. Jeff Neal, I think he's going to win this fight via KO under 1.5 rounds. Medic has a 100% finish rate as well. He just knocked out that Russian Unk that knocked out Carlos Leal. There's all this history in this fight card, it seems. I think he's good, man. I think he has potential to knock out Jeff Neal, but who is knocking out Jeff Neal besides one of the craziest, hardest hitting punchers in the welterweight division? Carlos Prates just sent Leon Mumblemouth Edwards to the Shadow Realm and sent him smiling. And I think Jeff Neal is going to get this one done, dude. He has such slick boxing. He's going to just make Medic miss. He's going to make him pay for it and just counter strikes. And I think Jeff Neal is going to win this one via KO, but I also kind of question if it's going to be a decision. Just kind of keep that in mind. I feel like this is kind of one of those fights where it's like, oh man, it's going to be a KO, obviously. But sometimes those fights are so obvious, end up being a decision. So I'll go Jeff Neal. I'll play it safe. Knockout. He's a minus 218 right now, and Medic is a plus 180. I kind of agree with that. So, but I got Jeff Neal to win that fight. Next up, last but not least, Anthony Hernandez versus Sean Strickland. Dude, I've been going back and forth in this one because I've been seeing so many videos of people picking Sean Strickland. And I don't disagree. I don't at all. I think Sean Strickland has a great case to win this fight. He has great defense. He has great striking. You could say like, oh, jabs and teeps. That's great striking, but it's really good striking, very good defense. That Philly shell works extremely well for him. Great ability to get up from a takedown. We saw it against Dracus. But Anthony Hernandez, on the other hand, has looked so good. And I know people are looking at him like being like, oh man, he's kind of a bum, like with this guy's like he's been fighting. Roman Dolidze, I don't rate very highly, and I think a lot of people agree with that as well. But still, I still look at that fight, and I still see how well Hernandez, just worked in that fight. He implemented a great game plan and just used his style advantage to Roman Dolidze. And when I see that style, and I watch Dracus versus Sean Strickland 1, I see a lot of similarities. I watched that fight like just like a couple days ago, I think. So it's still pretty fresh in my brain. But when I see Anthony Hernandez fight and see that, what he did to Roman Dolidze, shit fighter or not, in Roman Dolidze, I still think I'm going to side with Hernandez on this one, man. Even though Sean Strickland is very good and very proven, too. Don't get that wrong. I saw Dracus take down Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland got back up, but as the fight progressed, Dracus would keep on implementing those takedowns and keep on wearing the gas tank with Sean Strickland. And what did we just see against Dolidze versus Hernandez? Same exact thing. Where Hernandez is not trying to control you on the ground. He's trying to get you down, let you just work back up to your feet, put that pressure on you, and then right back in the feet, kind of try to piece you up. I think that's going to work in the same sense of Hernandez. Sean Strickland does not have counter-striking. All he has to go off of in his counters is jabs. He has this wing and right hook. I think it's either left hook or no, overhand right, I think, that he has, where he just like swings it over like a windmill. But I think Anthony Hernandez has pretty good striking too, and I think that cardio is going to play a big difference. If Hernandez comes in this fight, not sick, because in that fight against Brendan Allen, he was sick. He talked about it. He had a tummy ache, according to himself. And sure, he hasn't fought like the best competition, and Sean Strickland has. He's fought, he's fought Nurmagomedov and beat him. Like, people I feel like forget about that win, but dude, I'm not counting out Sean Strickland whatsoever. I'm going to be nervous as hell for Anthony Hernandez, but I'm going to pick him to win. I think I just cannot unsee what I saw against Dracus, where if Anthony Hernandez has the same game plan, and sure, Dracus is more physical, stronger, but Hernandez looks unassuming, but I think he does have that strength to take you down, not control you there, but just wear on you and just keep on taking you down. Because I don't think Sean Strickland has this great takedown defense as people kind of say. So I'm going to go with Anthony Hernandez to win this fight via decision. I think it's going to be extremely close, though. I'm going to say like 48-47 for Hernandez. I could see a 49-46, but I think in the first fight, Sean Strickland's going to edge it out just slightly via, more numbers, like on jabs and just like strikes overall. But I think Hernandez is going to start to work into the fight. I think in the second round, those leg kicks are going to get to him. He's going to get his first couple takedowns, start wearing him down, and then maybe fourth or fifth round, Sean Strickland wins that, and Hernandez just wins 3-2 on the judges' scorecards, a 48-47 decision, and that is it. And then he gets hopefully speed tracked to a title fight, but I don't know what's going to happen with that, to be honest. Maybe it's a discussion for another video to talk about Khamzat. But anyways, that's my final pick for the card. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great card, actually. I predicted a lot of finishes. Hopefully that comes true, so this, it's as entertaining as possible. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I hope I'm right on these predictions as well, because I've been doing pretty well on predictions. Last fight night, I went 10-2. I didn't post it because I didn't have time to edit the video. I just kind of recorded it late too. And then before that, at UFC 325, I actually went 9-0, I think, in my prediction. So we did really well, really well. So hopefully that streak continues. But we'll have to see, man. I look forward to watching this one, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video and agree with my picks. And if you guys have any discussions, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you guys think. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.